All right, back and always excited to have our good friend Bryan Platt in the studio with us today. And we want to talk about three things quickly. First of all, the Jackson County Fair starts this week, and Jackson County Right to Life always has a booth.
We do, Perry, and I think we all consider it the most positive, potentially the most outreach as far as a ministry to the people that really need to have the pro-life ministry of the whole year for us. So, and we have a great bunch of volunteers that will give 3 hours of their time during the course of the week. And of course, in past years, we've always been inside the Compton Arena where it's hot and dusty. This year, we're in this Mace Memorial Building, which is brand new and air conditioned. So, so our volunteers will really appreciate that. And we have the fetal models that the kids come over and they see these, and it's baby, mommy, it's baby. It's so important for us just to continue to get that positive pro-life message out, and the fair is the place to do it. So we're really looking forward to it. Starts tomorrow.
And goes right on through the weekend.
Yeah.
All right. Part of that is this is also your annual rally, or your, not rally, but raffle, excuse me. And you're giving away? We're
giving away $1,000 in cash to the lucky winner. And of course, the whole purpose behind this is to support the Right to Life chapter. It's we actually had two very generous donors this year come forward and actually front the money for the prize.
That's wonderful.
So Perry was an answer to prayer. I mean, it's just, what else can you say? And so now we have 250 $10 tickets. And as we sell those, almost every dollar goes right into the coffer for Jackson County Right to Life. The fair itself, I haven't actually done an average thing, but I'll bet the fair costs us around $800, $900 to produce. It's $500 just for the booth rental there at the fair. So the chapter needs that money to do its annual events, and we're in the process of selling those tickets. We got a little bit of a late start, so we may run a little bit longer than we normally do as far as announcing the winner, but we were thinking maybe we'd have it in the morning show. When all the tickets get sold, we'll come in and we'll get a big hat, and we'll have Paulina come in or something and draw the tickets.
So you got this week to do it.
We're really pushing this week. Tickets are available. Okay, we have Sensational Sweets, Clean Roberts up in Eagle Point.
Right.
We've got the Medford Mailbox, Bob and Rebecca Gurney downtown.
Okay.
We've got the Dove. Sue's got some out there. We've got Evangel in Grants Pass.
Okay.
We've got Valley Vinyl.
Okay.
And or you can call me and the cell phone number, which I left my cell phone at home, so just leave a message and we'll get to it. It's 541-821-4773, 541-821-4773. So we just do the honor system.
Yeah.
If you call and say, well, I'd like 4 tickets, then we'll just get your name and address and we'll mail them to you. When you get them, fill out your little stubs, mail them back with your check, and we'll get you in the drawing.
Okay. Let's do that. Let's get this sold out. 821-4773, or come by here at the Dove and check it out at Evangel in Grants Pass, or Mailbox.
Mailbox and Sensational Sweets. Boy, I know I'm missing one. That's just terrible. Valley Vinyl.
Anyway, get them.
Or call me. Or come on. Yeah.
821-4773. Buy a bunch of these tickets. Who knows? You could be the grand.
They're going fast. I mean, and that's always,
always happens at the end.
Well, it does always happen, and it's always a blessing, Perry. The Valley has a strong pro-life contingent, and we're leaning on them. We're leaning on them on the fair. We're leaning on them on the raffle, and now we're leaning on them on the petition.
All right, this is the most important thing I've had in my hand in a long time, and tell us about it.
Okay, so everybody probably remembers a year ago where Jeff Jimerson and a group up in Corvallis felt led by the Holy Spirit, and I mean truly, these folks have committed this whole process to the Lord. And the whole issue at heart here is that the state of Oregon, through Medicaid, funds over 4,000 abortions with our tax money every year. And I think we're just so blasted just by life and stuff that we don't really have time to sit down and really contemplate what that means. But you and I are paying for 11 abortions. We're killing 11 babies 7 days a week, 365 days a year in the state of Oregon. We're paying for that with our money, and it raises some really, I think, profound theological questions, but nonetheless, here is an opportunity for us to put this issue to a vote of the people of Oregon in the form of a constitutional amendment. So the bar is high in the sense that we need about 150,000 signatures to make sure that the 116,000 which is required is met, because we're going to have some that are not registered voters or sign wrong or whatever the case might be. So 150,000 signatures to get this on the ballot next November, the 2014 election cycle. So we're beginning that process of gathering signatures. Now, last time we got half of the signatures we need. We got half. In Jackson County, the goal is 10,000. We got 5. Statewide, the goal was 150,000. We got 70. And so everybody that signed last time needs to sign and get a friend to sign. Okay. I mean, we've got to double our effort. We've got to double our effort.
All right, you and one more person, if you signed it last time, and we got to do this. Now, look, we have some time here, but that shouldn't be a deterrent. Let's get it done early.
Yeah, the time works for us and against us.
Yeah, so if you don't have them, get a hold of Bryan. There's a volunteer handbook that comes out, which is very clear in what your instructions are. We have the signature, we have the petitions here at the Dove. But I would hope that you would allow pastors or whoever, talk to your pastor. Would you allow a point person in your church to stand in your foyer and collect signatures? It is totally, totally, totally legal.
Now, Perry, I was telling Sue before I came on, we got a minute or two here.
Yeah.
Every now and then something crosses the computer that I look at and it's almost stunning. You know, and you think, I've pretty much seen it all, and we know just how depraved the human heart can be. And this abortion thing, anyhow, so here's an Alan Guttmacher piece, okay? The author is a gal by the name of Heather Boonstra, but it's on the Guttmacher site. And the title of the article is "The Heart of the Matter, Public Funding of Abortion for Poor Women in the United States." And it has to do with this Medicaid, the use of our taxpayer money to fund abortions. So back down here about 6 pages deep in this thing, here's a sentence, and just listen to this. Perhaps the most tragic result of the funding restrictions. Okay, now she's talking about how we're trying to cut into this avenue where the public is paying for abortion.
Right.
Perhaps the most tragic result of the funding restrictions, however, is that a significant number of women who would have had an abortion had it been paid for by Medicaid instead ended up continuing their pregnancy. They consider that tragic, that those children were allowed to live. I mean, it's a complete 180 degree.
We have become reprobated in our thinking, and it's a reprobate, I should say, in our thinking, where wrong becomes right and right becomes wrong. And you know, we watched Texas over this last couple of weeks go through its incredible gyrations, but they got the bill passed.
They got the bill passed.
And you kind of wonder, all right, and when you polled the people in Texas, it was still a large percentage said no to abortion. Could we do that? You know, if you just take the church, Christian, eligible Christian voters in the state of Oregon, this thing passes.
This thing passes hands down.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking for individuals who will take this petition and approach their pastoral leadership of their church. That's the key. When the chapter goes to a church and we have no representation in the church body, in that particular church body, it's much more difficult to get that petition through the front door than if someone from that congregation says, hey, Pastor, I've got this petition. Would you consider allowing us to have a church signing Sunday, that kind of thing?
Yeah, and it can talk, and pastors, it's totally legal, totally legal. And I think this and voter registration ought to be going on constantly in your church between now and the time that this is due.
And that's a great point, Perry. And we do have voter registration forms along. And this is, of course, as part of this whole matrix, is that you have to be a registered voter. Your signature can't have degraded. I don't know about yours, but mine degrades almost every time I sign a form.
Coffee I have.
So we need to make sure you're a registered voter, that you know what your signature looks like. It isn't as critical anymore with respect to the address. Counties don't matter. We can mix counties on the same petition sheet. So in some ways they've made it a little more simplified. In other ways they're more critical, and particularly when it has to do with the circulator. But we've got plenty of instruction. This handbook pretty much lays that all out.
Let me just say to our viewers and listeners in Klamath County, Curry County, Douglas County, Josephine County, and right here in Jackson County, everything that Bryan's talking about applies. And so you can get a hold of Bryan, and he can get that to you if you live in one of those outside counties. And let's get this thing signed up.
Yeah,
and
shoot
ready.
them my phone number there again, Perry.
821-4773. 821-4773. Whether you want to buy a raffle ticket for the drawing coming up later this week, or you want to get the information about Stop Taxpayer Abortion. Now, I want you to just catch a number here. I want you to write the number 11 down on a piece of paper and maybe put it in your diary, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your mirror. Take out your Smartie and just write it on your mirror. Mark the word 11 down. 11 abortions a day in the state of Oregon are being paid for by your tax dollars. Now that's a number we can comprehend, we can ingest and understand, and yet it's a huge number that needs to stop. But 11 abortions a day are being paid for by your tax dollars. We got to stop it.
You know, I think that we just are so guilty of just getting into life and just the flow of life and stuff, and not really sitting down to contemplate that. And again, Perry, that is the whole thing is within the power of the church in Oregon. To get this thing on the ballot. Undisputably, we have the signatures out there. Everyone who signed it, though, has to double their effort. What we did last time isn't good enough by half.
Well, again, let me just say to all of our viewers and listeners, it's real simple. If you take the amount of people who are eligible to vote, Christians, or just take the Christians, the evangelical Christians in the state of Oregon, those of us who are eligible to vote, and we vote, and those who are eligible but unregistered, we get them registered and vote. You just take the number who are eligible and get them to vote, register and vote. You sway any election in this state. The numbers are clear. They're just solid in our favor. But for some reason, we don't do that. We just register and vote. This goes on the ballot and we win.
Yeah, and strategically, 2014 is going to be a watershed election nationwide, not just statewide. So it's a great time to get conservatives to the ballot box to support something like this that would be on the ballot.
Yeah. Brian, thank you again. 821-4773 is the number to Brian's phone. Buy a $10 ticket.
You bet.
You only got a couple days later. Go to the fair, visit their booth in the beautifully air-conditioned.
It's wonderful.
And then get a hold of one of these books. You have them out at the fair?
Yeah.
So stop by their booth and get one of these handbooks, and especially that you can become the point person in your church and gather signatures. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Perry.
We'll see you next time on Focus Today.